The people of the mountain village of Ginda in the northern Nasarawa State, a small tight-knit community. It has been here for more than 300 years. But for most of those 3 centuries, the people of Ginda did not have proper medical care. So the community pooled its money with that of local government and the MDGs to create this, built next to the former site of the tiny clinic that once struggled to meet the needs of 5,000 people.
There was a communal effort. They built a very small clinic whereby they were operating at the site. And today, we want to thank the Almighty God that the MDG came to rescue the community by building a wonderful hospital. The state government are doing their best to ensure that there's a doctor that will stay around this area to help the people, and with a mini theater to do minor surgery for the community. We have also antenatal cases that they do come to take the antenatal care, and we have some women that have started giving birth in this clinic.
This may be a routine examination for this pregnant woman, but in Ginda, this is a new and welcome experience for the women of the village. The local government supplies the drugs. There are 7 trained staff and 5 attendants. The community pays the security guards. This hospital has its own laboratory where it can analyze samples. It also has problems. There is no power supply to the hospital. There was no water until very recently. This was the solution. Spring water a kilometer away from the hospital is diverted into a reservoir 550 meters above sea level. Then the water is pumped 500 meters to a storage tank above the hospital. The natural force of gravity then propels the water to the hospital as well as 5,000 villagers. The water is pumped twice a week, 5,000 gallons at a time, enough to last 5,000 people for a week.
It was discovered that the people hadn't good drinking water. And as you know, without good drinking water, there's no amount of medicine you'll be given to people that will arrest some of the diseases that will result therefrom. So consequently, the community came here and identified that they had spring water somewhere, because all effort to get borehole system and get solar powered borehole to give them water proved abortive. All reconnaissance survey by experts proved that there was going to be no water because the area is located in about 500 meters above sea level. This site was discovered as being the only spring that all through the year has water running. And it was discovered that the water that was coming was not enough to sustain the residents. So the expert decided to look at it, brainstorm, and came out with the idea of getting the source of the water open up, and then a system developed that this water will be stored in a place. When it reaches a level that it can be pumped, it will now be pumped and the community will benefit from it. So that is how this spring came about, with a collective decision of the community and government.
The community welcomes the MDG initiative, but it wants more.
My people are so happy that the MDGs brought these facilities to alleviate their suffering. We have gathered here to express our happiness to the government, but we plead that you tell them to give us electricity.
For now, the people of Ginda celebrate. He's a man with a passion for art, the creative mind behind the face of the Millennium Development Goals project. an economist turned cartoonist who started young.
I was about 3 or 4 years old, I think, when I started. I didn't start with a pen, really. You draw on the ground, you get a charcoal, you draw on the wall, a chalk or something like that. And then later on, of course, the crayons and all that. I think I started with the broomstick kind of stick drawings. My brothers and sisters, everyone loved art, but, it was just like a play. It wasn't taken seriously and all that. But I had the interest, so I kept on and on.
Mustapha Bulama is the youngest of 32 children, the son of a decorated military man. His father, whom he always called Sir, had little interest in art, but one day inadvertently encouraged his son.
I can remember one time my brothers and sisters, I think they were in primary school then, they were given this homework to do. They were to draw the map of Nigeria, and they couldn't do it. I think they were tracing it from somewhere, and he said, "Oh, even your little brother can do this." And they said, no, he can't. Said, "Okay, Mustapha, come on," and I did. Actually, I got the boundaries and everything, and he was so happy with that, and we made fun of them, and he said, "Well done." I think that was one thing I can still remember, yes.
Despite this, it was economics, not art, that Bulama went to study at the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria.
I had the best grade in economics, O levels, so I decided, well, let me study economics. But because fine art at that time is the way people perceive it, and the way I'm made to understand is, when you study fine art, you have maybe you set up a little kiosk by the side of the road where you make some signs and stamps, and maybe if you make a painting, you wait for 6 months or God knows when, somebody will come and ask for it, and that's not the kind of life I would like to have. I would like to do things. I like to, make, I think, a lot of things in my life and not just sit by the roadside and all that. So I didn't feel very encouraged to study fine art, so I decided to study economics.
This is the fruit of his turn back into art. The cartoon character which will be the face and symbol of the Millennium Development Goals.
Looking at the pose and, try to come out with someone who, really feels, who has kind of deep sense of feeling or emotion about what is happening in wherever the society is. Like looking at the pose, it says, it's like a question pose, or what do you have to say? She is this Nigerian girl that travels from province to province, region to region, and she has this tomboy attitude, and she also has this knowledge about poverty and a lot of the problems we're having in this country, Nigeria. So when I was told about the character, I don't know, it didn't take me long to actually come up with the character. It was, I think, unlike other characters that I make, I take my time, I draw, erase, and those. This one, I just sat down and it just came.
The MDG organizers hope this will be a potent symbol as they try to create a brand that will be recognized by the people.